Hey everybody, it's Lacey, and I wanted to share one of my favorite places with you. God, this view just never gets old. I'm gonna pan over here. Ugh, isn't it amazing? Anyway, I'm sitting out here on this beautiful morning, and I was thinking about, I ask myself good questions all the time, and I think that also speaks to the power of coaching, right? Really good coaches ask really good questions at the perfect time and know when to dig in and dive deep. The sun's coming out. I'm loving it. Sorry for the brightness, but man, it's beautiful. Anyway, so coaching, I just was sitting here thinking, Lacey, why did you even get into coaching? Like, what was it? What sold you on it? What made you want to do this as your career? And I thought back to my childhood. I was fortunate to have really incredible parents, and still do, also fortunate in that way. And my mom essentially was my coach growing up, in a way. She was big into motivation, self-help. I grew up with, if you're old enough, you remember those, Nightingale Conant was the brand, but at first it was a tape set, cassette tapes, where you'd buy and there'd be like a stack of 8 or 12 of them, depending if it was an 8-part series or a 12-part series. And my mom would get those for Tony Robbins and for Wayne Dyer and all sorts of people, just trying to figure out life and being just insatiably curious about how we work and what helps people. And so I grew up exposed for as long as I can remember. I don't remember not having that in my life. Like, we took family road trips, and instead of listening to audiobooks or something like that, we listened to these programs on motivation and self-help all the way through our travels all over the United States. And so I grew up loving it. I grew up understanding and really craving every experience benefiting me. I didn't want to read a book to escape or to get away, but I wanted to read a book or listen to a program because it would make me better. I could listen for 3 minutes, I could listen for 5 minutes, I could maybe even listen for a minute and get something, this little nugget of goodness and wisdom, and be able to take that away with me and use that for the whole rest of my life, anytime I needed it. So I grew up with a mom that was that way. I was the kid that had on my bookshelf. I did grow up, I wasn't a total weirdo, but I did grow up with the Babysitter's Club books and the normal kid books. But also on my bookshelf were Tony Robbins and this motivational self-help, all the people of that time, that era of helping people, Brian Tracy and God, who are my other people? Carolyn Mace and Deepak Chopra. Deepak Chopra. And I just loved it. I loved what it was like. So I realized that I grew up with a mom that was a coach. I love her. She's amazing. She still is that way, fortunately for me, to this day. I didn't know that, though. I didn't know that's what that was. I thought that was my mom being my mom. And then also, I went through a lot of medical challenges when I was younger. And I was born with a birth defect, and I went through 5 really major surgeries that saved my life, all of them. And I realized that to get through them and to thrive and to live beyond what I was told would be my life or would be my possibilities and, of course, my limitations, that I had to develop a mindset of thriving, of deciding who I would be and how I would show up. And so I fortunately, I had this foundation in these amazing books and audio programs and all of these teachings that I grew up with, that ultimately, when I asked the question, why coaching? Well, why coaching for me is that it saved my life. When the stuff really hit the fan in my world and I didn't know what to do, and and I didn't know if I would live, and I didn't know how to even be in the world when my whole world was turned completely upside down, and everything I thought was suddenly maybe wasn't at all. I retreated to these books, and in my deepest, darkest moments of depression and wondering if I would go through all these surgeries and trauma and everything that had put my family and my parents through, that's all I had. In those moments when you're awake at 3 and 4 in the morning, you can't sleep, that's what I went to. I decided that I would either live or die, and that it was up to me to live, that I would set the tone, that I would bring the energy and the confidence and the knowing. And in doing that, it saved my life because it primed the doctors to believe in me. I believed so fully that I would live, that I would survive, that I would become something beyond just a statistic or beyond just a existing in the world. Like, guys, I was told I would live on disability, that I would be in pain and live on painkillers, and that I wouldn't go to college, that I would never have a job, certainly not a full-time job, and that ultimately I wouldn't amount to anything. Can you imagine hearing that? I mean, fortunately for me, doctors saved my life, right? But there's a certain point in time where you have to stop and say, what's my truth and what's not? And what am I willing to believe and to be? And that for me was, I've somehow learned to kind of be my own coach. So I grew up with my mom and my parents always asking me what I thought. Like, I was a little kid that growing up, I asked for permission a lot, and I asked for ideas, but then my mom would say, I don't know, what do you think? What do you think? You know, I think you know. And she believed in the power of my decisions. My dad the same way, exact same way. And so then you fast forward to these super traumatic moments in my growing up life, teenage years, and dealing with depression and surgeries and trying to figure out what I would make of myself. And to survive, I ultimately coached myself. So I kind of had that revelation actually this morning on why I care so much. I was just like, why do I care so much about coaching? What is it? And that's it for me. So I coach people because I get it. Like, I get that there are dark times in life, and I get that sometimes we end up in places we didn't realize we would be, in scenarios we wish we wouldn't be, and in situations where we need to figure out how to level up, how to evolve, and how to become something more, and give in a bigger way and live in a bigger way. And I did that through coaching and understand that power and that magic about it. And the questions that I've asked myself, that I've been asked, and that I've been coached on have totally and completely transformed my life. And I believe with all of my heart, everything in me, that is true for you. We all have things that we aspire to, things that we want, joys and passions and dreams, and equally we have fears. We have fears about fear of success. What if I am successful? Who does that leave behind? Will they doubt me? What if I fail? I've already gone this long. I mean, why try now? Those are all real things that we ponder and that we think about. And sometimes that as we so crave and desire something more for our lives, there's this piece of us that we stop ourselves, this fear where we realize that if we become something more, that'll change things. It might change our friendships. It'll cause some potentially to fall away. It might change our career. We won't have the job and the stability and the things we know, the solid paycheck, because to jump forward and to live boldly and bravely and vibrantly and powerfully in the world, we have to risk, and we have to jump, and we have to lead. And all of that is what I experience in my life every single day. It's what saved my life. It's what pushes me forward. It's what I love, I crave. And I just got an email from a client yesterday sharing what she had understood about her life in the last few months working together. And I just thought to myself, yes, like this is it. And she took this bold, brave jump, and she believed in herself. She didn't know how it would go or what would happen. And so she was like, this is kind of weird to say, but like I feel so much better. I feel like myself. I feel like I'm living in integrity. I didn't know what would become of this, but I'm so glad and proud of myself for doing this. It feels good. That's how she entered her email. I don't know, it seems weird to say, but it feels good. So I'm gonna keep doing it. And I'm just like, that's it. Like, that's the stuff. That's the power. And she's totally transformed her life, and in incredible ways, especially for having it be only a few months of doing so. So I share all this with you to share the power of coaching and to share the magnitude and the importance of your dreams. If there is something out there that you dream of that you have not taken on yet, that either inspires and motivates you, or if it's been a little while, it kind of taunts you, try coaching. Try it. Like, try at least questioning. Pick up a book that inspires you. Think about who you would become, if who you would have to become to pursue this passion and joy. What would you have to give up? How would you like your life to be? Like right now, if you could do and be and live anything, honestly, be honest with yourself, what would that be? What are your 3 biggest goals for this next quarter, for these next 3 or 4 months? Thank you so much for listening. Let me share my story, and I look forward to sharing more videos, and to playing with you, to serving and supporting you. And if there's ever anything I can do, please email me, reach out, and I look forward to talking with you soon. And of course, if it's your cup of tea, check me out. I'd love to work with you and see what you got going in your life and help you get more of what you want and what you so truly deserve in your world. We've only got this one life, and if we do it right, we're better together. And if we do it right, we pursue our dreams and our passions and our goals. And I believe that, if you know something that can help people, it's our responsibility to share it. It's why I'm here. It's why I'm recording this video. It's why I care about you and what you do and who you are and what you share in the world and the life that you live. My gosh, at the end of your life, when you're 70, 80, 90, 100 plus years old, when you're telling the stories about who you were, about who you became, make them stories you want to share, that you're proud of, that you love. Let that be your story. Let that be your legacy. Live your legacy now so that you can share stories that inspire you, that make you smile, that make you proud of the person that you were and the person that you already are. Until next time, live boldly, live bravely, and think of 3 things that you would like in the next quarter or so, right? Next 3 or 4 months, and move in the direction of those dreams. Watch and see what happens. I'll see you next time.